There's the man, the myth, the legend, who keeps me alive with that machine.
Trusted servant.
Oh, you're more than that.
No, I meant like
You're an honor. You're a blessing. Whatever the fuck.
the bright light.
Ways to see where we're at. Like I said, this will only last probably about an hour from this point. If it's on 50, if it's on 10, I might get an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's not a lot of time. You gotta plan your steps accordingly. Thanks for keeping me alive, machine. The guy. Good thing we don't have a part.
Coco dance!
Oh, Coco's supposed to dance. What a great way to start. Welcome back to Serenity with Lana. I am Lana. I have not been around for a while. I have finally, I think, gotten over double pneumonia. That is my third bout this year. We're holding grace, and things have been progressing pretty good. There's been a few changes, a lot of changes actually. Maybe we'll get into that in a different video. I finally wanted to address a question, or more so, a friend that wanted to learn a little bit more about something I posted 2-3 months ago now. It was a video by Maya Angelou where there was a single quotation that my friend didn't really it didn't settle well with her, and she couldn't really get past that lump in her throat when she heard some of the things that were said during that speech. Put into an expression the way that Maya Angelou was known to do, it can be boundless, yet it can become a compass for people as well. And there's people that have the reaction my friend did to this quote, and then there's people that can internalize it and sit with it and critically think about it until we move forward to a place where we understand the vastness of what she was getting at. Powerful speech. I am human, therefore nothing human can be alien to me. And to talk about how someone could commit the most heinous crime, and she has to understand that there's a part of her that if she's a child of God, if that person could do something that terrible, then there's a portion of her that would be able to do the same. Then she goes on to explain that there's the other side of it. If somebody chooses to wake up despite their circumstances or in spite of their circumstances and rise to be powerful and do good and have greatness and impact other people's lives, like Martin Luther King, I think she references a few people, and those were people not without fault. They were not angels. They had their battles and they had their scars to bear from those battles, but ultimately it came from understanding that we're all children of God and we have to be more understanding of each other. That really echoes across literary, ethical, and spiritual landscapes in so many ways for different people. It invites us to really walk with one another, tremble with humility, have the ability to be brave enough to be as honest as we can with ourselves where we are in the moment. When we do those things, we're able to walk in the shoes of others, and we're able to see that the person that committed that heinous crime may not be that terrible of a person. I just want to let the words settle into your soul. It's important to let them become a ball that reverberates throughout your assumptions, throughout your judgments, through your hopes, your despairs. I decided to do this video because this is one of the videos I used to bring to my class right before they would go on placement, or they were learning about professionalism and ethics in either social service work or developmental service work. To elevate this teaching, weaving together Maya Angelou's life and philosophy and how she got there, her rich stories and the reflections that she shared, but then also the Facebook narrative of people not understanding really what she was getting at and only looking at it from a certain lens really ignited this newfound journey for me. But unfortunately, I was too ill to even really have the energy to write about it and nonetheless have a whole video about it. For Maya, the enduring ethical charge that her wisdom issues to all who strive to serve and uplift the human family. Basically, that's what she's trying to do. That's her philosophy. I find that kind of neat. I brought this into my students' lives and then others' lives because it was a guide. The ancient origin and its timeless rebirth through Maya Angelou. The phrase "I am human, therefore nothing human can be alien to me" traces itself back to not Angelou herself, but to the self-tormentor Tarrant, a Roman playwright of African descent, enslaved and later freed in the 2nd century, spoken to justify compassion and amid huge judgment, and provides immediate context, but it also transcends immediate context. It becomes a universal anthem, I would think, a call to radical empathy and compassion and to humility, which is what I think most of all I have been struggling to have in my life, and to go forward with grace and keep myself in that humility. It's a good reminder. Centuries later, obviously, Maya too came into this line and into the light of burden and present. She did not merely quote it, she lived it, and she integrated it into her teachings, her activism, her poetry. These words really reveal both the heights and the depths of the human condition, which is something that a lot of people don't spend a lot of time thinking about. Some of us do. In recognition of the spectrum of what humans are capable of, and we're capable of beauty all at the same time. We are capable of judgment, but we're also capable of mercy. We move closer to the root of our own humanity through recognition of these simple yet very complicated topics or areas of life. Meaning and the implication, embracing the whole human, right? I think for my situation, because of my medical issues right now and what I've been segmented into, to nothing human to be alien. I surely don't think it is a license nor an excuse, but an admission that within each of us lies the seeds of every joy, every single cruelty, that empathy arises only when we drop the illusion of separateness. And that's where we've gotten in our world, is that everybody's so different and unique and all this other bullshit, when really we're made up of the same cells, we're made up of the same construct, and the same creator made us. It is an invitation to expand our own thought and our own hearts at that, to say, when hearing of an act of hatred or grandeur, that too could be a part of me. And that's a powerful thing to realize, because the opposite is very true too, like I said in the beginning, and I tend not to enact it. That's basically what Maya Angelou was saying, but I am not above it. As Angelou said herself in her classes, when you can internalize that, you can never say again, when the person commits the most horrific crime, oh, I could never do that. You can say, I intend to never do that, because you have the same components in you. But if you can do that with a negative, just think of what you can do with the positive. And that's what I think my friend missed, is that yes, we can do the absolute tragedy, but we can turn it into the most wonderful story as well. Maya Angelou's philosophy is a spiritual and ethical one, a life of trial, triumph, and transformation. She realized, so that quote came into her life later on, but when she was younger, she was, I think, 8, and she was sexually abused by somebody in her community. When that person was arrested and then released, he was found dead, and somebody had stoned him or kicked him to death, something like that. She thought that basically her words killed him. Even though he did this horrendous thing, she had compassion for him still in some way that she didn't understand, and probably didn't understand until she was 30, 40, 50. She rendered mute for nearly 5 years, and people had given up on her and thought of her as being developmentally delayed, or that she would never fulfill or have a full life, and that was not true. During that time, she read every book that she could. She learned about words and the power of words, and how we can lift people up and how we can tear them down to the bare roots of society and then kick them into the ground further, when really we had the opportunity to do the opposite and rise them up. She had just a remarkable memory, but she also had a profound love for literature, and that led her on her journey from the Jim Crow South through music, dance, and activism to the global acclaim that she was as a poet and educator. So that basically is a testament to the survival and the alchemy of pain into purpose. And I can relate to that. I have my own story very similar to Maya's in that regard. And that's why that quote, like that whole speech, really speaks to me. It's demanded that we confront, without denial or excuse, the full spectrum of the human behavior, the human condition. I didn't realize how crazy, or how I need to delete that word from my vocabulary, but how weird my hair was. Anyway, imagine being trapped in a body that is failing you while the world moves on. You were never a part of it. I felt that way with a lot of people. Imagine trying to celebrate your child's milestones and holidays and your own milestones, knowing that next year you may not be there. Imagine looking at your partner, who you've come to admire and have so much respect for and love, that you and knowing that no matter how much they love you, they can't understand what it feels like to wake up every morning knowing your body is one step closer to quitting. You never know when that time's going to come and you're going to have to leave them with the burden of taking care of everything on their own. Imagine realizing that the people you thought would be there for you, the ones that you celebrated and supported and held their head up when they needed you, aren't there for you. They don't even text to check in and tell you about the good things that are going on in their life, what's happening. They don't ask how you're doing, or if they do, they don't really want the answer. They forget your birthday. You remember theirs. Do you know what it feels like to sit with all of that every single day, every night? To absorb the quiet, crushing weight of knowing that you could disappear tomorrow. For most people, nothing would change. No pill can fix that. No therapist can talk me out of that reality. That sucks. It's where I had been. It took a really long time to start to deal with it my way, not the way that everybody else wanted me to deal with it. How would you feel if the roles were reversed? One day, and I hate to tell you this, especially if you're younger, but your body will fail you. Maybe not in the way that mine has, but nobody escapes it. Everybody ages. One day you may be the one asking for help, and maybe you are the one asking for help, but you just don't have a disability or a chronic illness like I do. One day you might be the person watch people hesitate before answering you, or deciding that, or they're weighing whether your suffering is inconvenient to them and what they're going to tell you to put back on you. I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time that you checked on someone and really checked on them? Made sure they were good, and if they weren't, you went to bat for them. When was the last time? Have you ever dismissed somebody's pain because it made you feel uncomfortable? You didn't want to talk about it. You didn't believe that somebody could be in that kind of pain. Do you only show up for people when it's easy or when it benefits you? Be honest with yourself. I think we've all done it, but that needs to change. If somebody told you that they were applying for a maid because they couldn't bear to live in the world the way that it is for them, would you assume that they just need a therapist and that they just need a little bit of help that way? Or would you actually listen to them and listen to what they're saying and ask questions that are uncomfortable so that you can get the answers you need to make a better judgment instead of an assumption? If you disappeared tomorrow, who would fight for you? Who would go looking for you? Who would say, "Something's wrong here. I don't trust that this nurse or this doctor." Who would be there? Who would show up for you? Who would write a tribute to you? Not because they had to or they were asked to, but because you made such an impact that they could not say no. Do you have those people in your life? Because I thought I did. And I don't know if I did things completely wrong, and I'm not even gonna think about it. It's not worth my time now, but I wish people would have told me